Everyone. So the Chicago Bulls are very likely to start the rebuild of their franchise. They're already shopping Zach Lavine. DeMar DeRozan would probably be likely next after Zach Lavine. Lavine's going to be the first domino to fall because they're not going to do anything unless they can unload Lavine. DeMar, you can make an argument, maybe they trade either way just because he's a free agent, so better to go and get something for him than he just leaves in free agency. But more likely than not, by the trade deadline, Zach Lavine will be on another team. Report came out today that the Lakers are interested in both Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan. Not that they'll trade for them both together, but that they would look to maybe acquire one, whether it's Lavine or DeMar DeRozan. Now, whatever package the Lakers put together for either of these guys, especially like if it's DeMar DeRozan, he's cheaper, he's easier to get to. He's only making like $28.5 million as opposed to Lavine and his max $40 million. So it just would be so much easier to get to DeMar DeRozan than a Zach Lavine. But when you're talking about whatever package that is put together, you're very likely, or at least the idea is, that you're trading D'Angelo Russell, right? You have his like $17.5 million. You throw in like a Rui Hachimura, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and you go get like DeMar, Alex Caruso, and Andre Drummond, right? Something like that. Again, there would be more interchangeable parts than that, but that would probably be the meat and potatoes of the deal. And yes, you're losing Rui, which would suck, but you're getting a DeMar DeRozan who would just provide some more consistency, and especially come playoff time. LeBron's going to be playing probably 40 minutes anyway in the playoffs, so Rui, how much opportunity does he get? You'd still have plenty of other depth, right? Long-term wise, Rui makes more sense, but Lakers are in win-now mode, right? Whether it's with DeMar DeRozan or Zach Lavine, I've said it before, I firmly believe DeMar DeRozan will be a Laker. Again, just a thought. I don't know this for certain. I'm just a fan like everyone else. I just think and look at the landscape and go, he wants to be a Laker. It's no secret at all. He's a free agent, right? If Chicago starts tearing it down, he's going to want to go to the destination that he wants to go to, and he's going to want to try to contend for an NBA championship. The Lakers chalk up everything that he wants, right? But if you were to trade D'Angelo Russell, now the question remains is, well, then who's going to be like the ball handler? Who's going to be the point guard, right? Now you have LeBron James, obviously, so you could do something like a DeMar DeRozan, Cam Reddish, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis starting five. And DeMar DeRozan could easily be the initiator. He did that for San Antonio. I mean, Pop had him playing point guard at times, right? So he could be the guy that comes in and initiates the offense. He does it with Chicago. He did it in Toronto at times. He's not like a point guard, but he can, again, bring the ball up, get us into our offensive sets, get the ball to LeBron James, and then there you go. Now everything's flowing naturally, at least in the starting unit. You'd have Austin Reaves who could come back up. If you keep Gabe Vincent, well, then you'd have Gabe Vincent. So maybe you don't go Cameron. Maybe you go Gabe Vincent, DeMar, Vandal, LeBron, and AD, right? However, the starting five is if you were to get somebody like a DeMar DeRozan, especially if you get an Alex Caruso, maybe you're starting Caruso at the point, right? The Lakers did that at times in 2020 because LeBron was playing the point guard. And LeBron doesn't want to be on the ball and have the ball handling duties. But hey, man, we're trying to win a championship here, right? You're going to have to figure it out. Right? It sucks. You wouldn't have to do it all game long, but you're going to have to do it at least the first five and at least the end of the five, right? But D'Angelo Russell has been so good this year in that point guard role. I've talked about it all offseason. I talked about it during the regular season this far, and now you're starting to see it more about how let D'Lo play point guard. Him and Austin Reaves in the starting unit were clashing. D'Lo is having to constantly play off the ball, and it's just this awkwardness. And ever since Reaves has gone to the bench, D'Lo has been thriving. The three-point shot is still a little shaky. It's not perfect, but he's out here wheeling and dealing. Human highlight reel right now with passing and assists. He's being more efficient, more effective. You're starting to see him get back up. And it's because he's the one guy trying to get the ball to Anthony Davis. He's the one guy that's, hitting the open man, finding the cutters, all of that stuff. And he's taking care of the basketball. LeBron's been super turnover heavy. Austin Reaves has been super turnover heavy. So the question that I want to pose and ask all of you, and of course I want to hear your thoughts and opinions, so let me know down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. But I think that there is a real argument, and I never thought I would say this going into this season. I want to preference that, right? And I'm not saying that they should do this, but there is a real argument that's worth a discussion. Austin Reaves has been rough, right? He's had his moments where he's like, kind of looks like he's himself, but it's more so just the lack of impact when he's not cooking, right? Austin Reaves didn't score a bunch of points, but he filled up the stat sheets. He gave you 8 assists and 11 rebounds last night, which is good. He was rebounding and giving assists. But outside of that game, and even in that game, just all the costly turnovers just looked, he looked unplayable. He's been much worse than D'Angelo Russell defensively. D'Lo's actually been pretty good defensively. He's not like Jared Vanderbilt or anything like that, but he's been very good, right? He's really getting after it on the defensive side. He's been a great help defender. He's really been disrupting passing lanes and just playing good defense, staying in front of his man. Austin Reaves has been so bad defensively this year, I don't even think he could guard me right now. It's been terrible, right? And you look at just the lack of consistency from Reaves. You look at the turnover proneness where D'Lo's taking care of the basketball. Austin Reaves just looks like he's struggling to even just hold on to the basketball. D'Lo's the better playmaker. D'Lo's the guy who has the better vision and is able to get out there and do the things that we've seen D'Lo do. D'Lo shoots just as well. He can still play off the ball. I think that there is a real argument to be made that you trade Austin Reaves and you keep D'Angelo Russell. And you go with the starting five of D'Lo, DeMar DeRozan, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. That way, D'Lo, he can continue to be the playmaker, continue to be the point guard, can continue to play off the ball in spots when, if DeMar has the ball or LeBron has the ball. Again, he's been better defensively. I love Austin Reaves, and I want him to be a Laker long haul. But as far as who would be best right now, D'Lo would be best right now, by far. Because that would give you somebody that you can rely on. And then at the end of games, you could sit him if you wanted to, and you have DeMar. So at the end of the game, you could just have LeBron play point guard like he has been in the fourth quarter, right? And then go with DeMar, Reddish, Vando, LeBron, and AD. Boom, there's your five. But D'Lo's the guy starting the game. He's the one initiating things. He's the one getting everything going. He's the one eating. And he's been really good at kind of just keeping us in games lately, right? So the issue with the reason you would trade D'Lo is a couple reasons. One is his salary, right? Reaves is making $12.5 million as opposed to D'Lo's making $17.5 million. So you'd have to fill in a little more salary. But if you're trading for just DeMar DeRozan straight up, then you really don't. You could do, like I said, Reaves and Rui. You might not even have to give up a pick at that point because it's dude, we are giving you Austin Reaves and Rui Hachimura for, maybe you throw in a Taurean Prince and go get Alex Caruso also. And be we're giving you the younger Austin Reaves, we're giving you a younger Rui Hachimura, we want DeMar DeRozan, and we want Alex Caruso. Now you got another point of attack defender, a guy that could go after it, or you could throw in a Gabe Vincent, especially if you keep D'Lo, right? Throw in a Gabe Vincent if you have to, because at that point you're giving up Austin Reaves. You can still make the money work however you want to do it. Let's say you did want to get DeRozan, Drummond, and Caruso, then again, you could easily just throw in a Gabe Vincent. I love Austin Reaves. D'Lo has been more impactful this season, even in the bad games. And that's kind of where my point of hey, we should trade Reaves over D'Lo right now, just because D'Lo, I believe, can have a bigger impact. And I know the big concern is going to be, well, D'Lo doesn't show up in the playoffs. That's not entirely true. He had one bad series, but okay, let's say that is the case. Let's say he does lay an absolute goose egg. You would have DeMar DeRozan. It's not going to be that impactful. And DeMar DeRozan is going to be our closer, not Austin Reaves. So you're going to be, again, if we get DeMar DeRozan, Austin Reaves is going to end up just being an off-ball guy. I love Reaves. I think long-term wise, you should probably keep Reaves. Same thing with Rui Hachimura. I don't think, like if we didn't have LeBron, you don't trade Reaves and you don't trade Rui. If you can get DeMar for Gabe Vincent and D'Lo, then you go get DeMar for Gabe Vincent and D'Lo. But we're not in that situation. We are in a season in which we have an opportunity to win an NBA championship. We just need that consistent go-to guy. DeMar DeRozan would be that. DeMar DeRozan would essentially neutralize Austin Reaves more than he already has been. I mean, Austin Reaves would become redundant essentially. Because, again, down the stretch, late in games, DeMar DeRozan's going to be the one that has the ball in his hands. He's been one of the most clutch players in the league this season. And just period. The last 5, like 2 years ago, he was number 1 in the league. The guy is hitting and is capable of hitting big shots. He's more consistent than Reaves. He's built a career on just being dependable and consistent, right? Like, but D'Lo would still have value. D'Lo you could still use and need for the playmaking to run the point guard. And when D'Lo is having a bad shooting night, he still can go get you 9 assists, get you, 5, 6 rebounds, play some defense, get you a couple steals, work after it, and he's already fine and comfortable, not closing games. I look at this team, I look at if we got DeMar DeRozan, I look at the way that Austin Reaves has been thus far and the way that D'Lo has been thus far, and I think that if you have to choose between the two and you get DeMar DeRozan, you trade Austin Reaves because I think Austin Reaves will be impacted and hurt far more than D'Lo will. Again, it's not even so much so the argument of which player is better. It's more so of like who would be the better fit. Also, Reaves would yield you the better return, right? Or maybe you could even go get Zach Lavine if you were willing to include Reaves, but then that would make it even harder, right? Because now you're talking, you'd have to give up Gabe Vincent, Reaves, and Rui just to meet Lavine's package. But that's my point. Like if you can go and you can trade Reaves to go get DeMar DeRozan, I think you do it, right? The concern would be D'Lo could just leave after this season, but I don't think he would. Right? Because I think the only reason the question was even a thought was just because all the reports that the Lakers are planning on trading him, right? If he's knows he has the security and he knows he's going to be here long term, he's not going to go nowhere. And especially if the Lakers have an opportunity to win the championship or they do win the championship, he's not going to go anywhere. But anyway, again, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree with my points? Or do you think absolutely no way you don't trade Reaves, you keep D'Lo? I have a feel what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it, so let me know down in the comments below.